What is old is new again in Dallas. The Cowboys have corralled their next head coach, and he's their former offensive coordinator. Brian Schottenheimer will take the reins in Big D, the team making official what had been rumored for a good stretch of the latter part of the week. Schottenheimer becoming the 10th head coach in franchise history, his first head coaching gig. And that is something that is a long time coming. Schottenheimer's worked 14 seasons as an OC, including the last 2 in Dallas. And Marty and Brian Schottenheimer are now the 9th father-son combination to each be a head coach in the National Football League. Marty was a head coach for 4 different franchises from 1984 to 2006. He won exactly 200 career games in the regular season. And now his son Brian has a chance to do the same, ascending from the ranks of being a coordinator, something that was celebrated, according to Adam Schefter, in the team's announcement.
It would have been great if everybody could have heard the excitement in Jerry Jones' voice on Friday night when he called to say that it was official. Brian Schottenheimer, a career assistant coach in the NFL, no longer was a career assistant. He now was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Those were the words that Jerry Jones used, and the excitement in his voice was obvious. Jerry Jones, Brian Schottenheimer, the Dallas Cowboys spent the past 3 days going over their vision for the organization and how it would take shape in the future. And by the time Friday night rolled around, they had put together a 4-year agreement that made Brian Schottenheimer an NFL head coach just like his famous father, Marty Schottenheimer, once was. The Cowboys have a new direction, but it's somebody that they know very well, who their quarterback, Dak Prescott, believes in, and now another team has filled another opening. The new Dallas Cowboys head coach is Brian Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer is the 3rd internal hire to be named head coach in Cowboys history. He joins Jason Garrett and Dave Campo, and depending on your definition of success, neither of those 2 worked out. Campo lasting only the 3 seasons without a playoff berth. Jason Garrett, meanwhile, winning 2 playoff games across a span of 10 seasons. There is Brian Schottenheimer. There is Louis Riddick with us on SportsCenter this morning. Louis, what do you make of this move by Jerry Jones?
Randy, it's not surprising in the least, right? I mean, this is the kind of thing that fits with what Jerry Jones, well, rather with how Jerry Jones likes to run his organization, which is he wants people who are going to fall in line and who he's going to be comfortable with from a relationship standpoint, and who's going to be okay with the way he likes to do business, both as an owner and as a GM. And basically, as an overseer of the entire organization, everything runs through Jerry Jones and basically stops with him. Now, that's not to say that this is a knock on Brian Schottenheimer. I was around Brian Schottenheimer back in 2001 when I started my scouting career in Washington with his father, with Marty Schottenheimer. And he has been someone who has been a career assistant and someone who's been around some great players and some great coaching staffs. And I think what Adam said, to kind of put, some shine onto this situation is the fact that he's someone that obviously Dak Prescott trusts, and Dak Prescott has a great relationship with. And that's pretty important considering the kind of investment that Dallas recently has made in Dak Prescott. You have to foster that relationship. You have to get the very best out of Dak. Does this from the outside, from everyone who's looking at Dallas, look as though this was the best possible candidate that they could get, the best possible candidate on the market? No. But there's a lot of things internally that they know about Brian Schottenheimer that nobody else knows, and who knows how this is going to ultimately turn out. But it's not shocking in the least that Jerry Jones went internal, went with someone who he's comfortable with and someone who he knows exactly what he's going to get from them, and they know exactly what they're going to get from Jerry Jones.
The Dallas Cowboys want to be playing football games on this championship weekend, not making coaching changes. Dallas has not played in the championship round of the playoffs since 1995. Speaking of, Brian Schottenheimer, champion of the bid. He's waiting a long time for a head coaching opportunity. Yeah. So why is Jerry Jones giving him one?
Head coach Schotty had a lot of support in the building, not just with Jerry Jones. People at the top really value the relationship they built with Brian Schottenheimer. And the sense around the league is that this is a Dak Prescott hire. Dak Prescott likes Schottenheimer and the offense, the chemistry they have together. He likes the continuity that he brings. So it's kind of just running it back in a lot of ways, even though Mike McCarthy, if they could have found maybe some common ground on the number of years on a deal, he would still be there as of a couple weeks ago, but they just couldn't. So Schottenheimer stays in-house, and there is shock around the league that he somehow rose to the top here despite some other qualified candidates like Kellen Moore. The stage was set for him to get this job. He really wanted this job, and here he is. It didn't work out. So A lot of surprise doesn't mean he can't do well. They're going to have a good staff. Sources tell me that Matt Eberflus, recent Chicago Bears head coach, will be heavily in the mix probably as a defensive coordinator. So that's one to watch.
Phil Murphy, Randy Scott with you at SportsCenter AM. The Cowboys have a new head coach, and they did not have to go far to find him. Brian Schottenheimer moves from the booth to the sideline, trading his offensive coordinator headset for his head coaching headset, I suppose. 51 years old, Schottenheimer gets a 4-year deal to become the 10th head coach in franchise history. Todd Archer has more from Dallas on the dawn of a new old day.
As much as there's familiarity between Jerry Jones and Brian Schottenheimer, there's familiarity between Dak Prescott and Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer, while he was the offensive coordinator these last 2 seasons, he wasn't the play caller, but every time Prescott came off the field, he was the one talking to the quarterback, going over what they would see from the defense, going over what they would need to do to change plays. Dak had a really good relationship with Mike McCarthy as well, but he's grown tight with Brian Schottenheimer, and he believes he's a guy that can get him back to the form that he had in 2023 when he was second in the MVP voting after a 36-touchdown season.
Cowboys are certainly hoping that Schottenheimer can recreate the success that he had with Dak Prescott in their first season together. 2023, Prescott ranked top 3 in total QBR, passing touchdowns, completion percentage, and passing yards.